Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pada kesempatan kali ini saya akan melaporkan kegiatan non-mengajar saya yang ketiga pada tahapan PPL 2 Pendidikan Profesi Guru. Kegiatan saya berjudul mengikuti international webinar yang diselenggarakan oleh SEAKIM. Tahapan kegiatan saya yang pertama adalah melakukan registrasi pada link yang telah di-share dalam WhatsApp group. Tahapan yang kedua adalah mengikuti international webinar yang diselenggarakan oleh SEAKIM secara virtual menggunakan aplikasi Zoom Meeting. Nah, berikut ini akan saya tampilkan dokumentasi kegiatan non-mengajar saya yang ketiga.
Assalamualaikum, saya akan mengikuti kegiatan international webinar yang diadakan oleh SEAMIL. Berikut ini saya sedang mengikuti kegiatan pembukaannya.
Esteemed guests, distinguished participants, and ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
To welcome the Deputy Director for Program and Development, SIMIO Secretariat, Dr. Wahyudi. The screen is yours, Bapak.
Thank you, Mbak Lili. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable Dr. Evi Mulyani, the Director of Simultaneous Mathematics or SIKIM. Honorable Board of Directors of Simus Center Indonesia. Distinguished keynote speakers, Mr. Timothy Brzezinski of GeoGebra, Dr. Alison Carlson of University College London,
Of the Ministry of Education and Culture, Republic of Indonesia, to deliver the opening speech and officially open this webinar. Ibu Evi Mulyani, PhD, the screen is yours.
First of all, best regards from the Secretary General of Ministry of Education and Culture of Republic of Indonesia. Also apologies, the Secretary General is not able to join us this morning due to unforeseen circumstances. It's an honor to attend the International Webinar Series 2, Lesson Learned from the Pandemic, organized by SIMIL Regional Center for Kitab in Mathematics or SIKIM. I'm sure many of you, just like me, have been intrigued by the theme of the webinar, what we can do with technology to make mathematics learning more meaningful and joyful.
At GeoGebra and a full-time independent mathematics education consultant in Brzezinski Math, teachers and then teacher educators and author. Prior to this, he was a full-time high school mathematics teacher and a part-time mathematics instructor. Mr. Brzezinski facilitates active and engagement professional development workshop for mathematics teachers and administrators worldwide.
Or whether it's with students, is to really make it participant-centered, student-centered, right? We don't learn, I mean, like when we watch a YouTube video, that is passive learning. That's not active engagement, right? And so when this pandemic hit, at least in the United States, where I live in the Eastern United States, it's like 9:45 at night. But basically, you know, teachers were trying to figure out, what do we do? and they're trying to figure out how to make YouTube videos, how do I upload them? And honestly, if you really want a video on solving a quadratic equation, just go to YouTube. There's probably 10,000 out there. Why do we have to reinvent the wheel, as we say, and do all that work again? But can we actually take what exists and make a platform that puts the student still at the center and the teacher at the side? And with GeoGebra, you can. And we have over, what, I want to add as many as we possibly can here. And I see all the names here. Now, GeoGebra is currently working on, to set a world record for the biggest GeoGebra class. Let's do it. Okay, keep on coming. So, right here, but notice here on the overview page, I see 5 out of 114 have started. Let's see. Oh, I could see responses, but it's a great way you can help pace students along the way, even though they may be at home. Now, this model also works with students in class in the United States, in the town in which I lived, the high school here, what they asked right here. Okay, and so now we can challenge students. We can ask them to create anything in this particular context. And again, GeoGebra Classroom was the interface that we use. If you go to your profile as a student, you can see your work later. If you close out of the browser and leave, and then you come back, you can do that. Okay. Yes, GeoGebra, I see a few questions there. We'll go to questions a little bit, but on a mobile phone, it's kind of tricky because it all depends on the app size, the applet size in there. If the applet's too big, a phone's not going to simply do it. You know, something like a tablet or an iPad could work. You know, but if a Chromebook is probably more desirable. But there are many topics in to do that. So yes, so let me talk about that now. We categorize them by playlists, and one of the first few playlists is using GeoGebra to teach math remotely. There's lots of 1-hour webinars on using the apps, and also resources.
I may need to this journey, and I will reflect on why it is such a challenge, even with all the resources that you might have for the technology, for the professional development. It's still quite a challenge for our mathematics teacher community to come to be confident to use this technology in their practices. And my research has looked at this in depth, and I will share some of my thinking and that of my colleagues as to why it is such a challenge. There are 2 other technological devices on that image. One in the middle is a very famous original turtle that was part of the Seymour Papert legacy of the work of Logo mathematical software. And this is now
there was lack of stable internet connectivity at home sometimes, or lack of a conducive environment at home. But perhaps the biggest challenge was the long hours of screen time that was being, because all schools went online and were taking classes online. It led to it is difficult to hold on their attention on screen. But if we can think of some interesting games, for example, representing numbers in different bases, or practicing. If, for example, I was giving that the example of the integer partitions problem.
Nah, alhamdulillah kita tadi sudah mengikuti serangkaian acara internasional webinar. Selanjutnya kita akan mengikuti penutupan dari sesi webinar ini.
Webinar soon on Instagram post. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this international webinar series entitled Lesson Learned from the Pandemic, What We Can Do with Technology to Make Mathematics Learning More Meaningful and Joyful. Let's hope that the condition gets better soon, thus we can gather here in Yogyakarta face-to-face for the upcoming program of CK. Trust me, for being here, you will not only learn a lot, but also experience the beauty and hospitality of Yogyakarta, Indonesia. On behalf of CBU Regional Center for Kitab in Mathematics, I will say thank you, terima kasih, salamat, Hapunka for joining this webinar series and see you on the next webinar. Have a good day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.